Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now on the Dignified Delinquents podcast, this man he's an all-around talent. He's an actor, best known from his appearances on Grey's Anatomy, Deal With It, and Lethal Weapon. He's one of the stars of the BET Plus comedy Bigger, and he's one of the funniest comedians hitting the stage around the country. Show some love to my guy, Chase Anthony, in the building.
What up, what up, what up?
What's going on, boss man?
Man, I got no complaints, man. We here.
Absolutely. Happy 2022. We still fresh into it.
Man, I know, man. I know. I always wonder how long we could say that to people. Like,
yeah.
I feel like after Black History Month, I'll stop saying it.
Yeah. When I get to Black History Month, I'm typically like, all right, happy Black History Month. And then
exactly.
We speaking of Black History Month, do you do anything to celebrate, anything special that you do, or any rituals that you have to celebrate Black History Month?
I think that, definitely during the pandemic, you appear to be a little bit more woke, as they say. So no, I think that you just try to be on brand. You try to make sure that if anything, you put your money where Black people are at that moment. It should be the most heightened moments where you buying Black.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that it was a benefit a couple of years ago, and I see the trend continuing to go where people are trying to support Black businesses. So I definitely support it, and I'm appreciative of the ones that's doing it. Now, for you, I was doing some research on you. Now, you were born in Atlanta, Georgia, but you grew up in Minneapolis. Is that right?
Yeah, I was born in Atlanta, and then I moved to Minneapolis when I was 14.
When you was 14, okay. So you did some growing up in Atlanta too. How was that as a change? Because that got to be like a cultural shock.
I don't know how far my vernacular can go on the show.
Oh no, you good.
Oh yeah, no, man, that shit was wild. That shit was wild as hell. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Like, I can't even hold you. Like, bro, going from Atlanta and then Minnesota, just climate wise, it's already crazy.
For sure.
But you talk about culturally, like, you know what I'm saying? Fuck shock. You know what I'm saying? Like, because Atlanta black and white for the most part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what you end up seeing, especially at that time. You really weren't exposed to it. And then when you get to Minnesota, like they just got so many different communities, the African community, the Asian community up there different. And so you kind of get thrown into it. So yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, we were just in Houston, Texas, and we took a trip to Austin, and I said, damn, Austin is to what white people, what Atlanta got to be for Black people. Because I was like, this is pretty white out here. So I was like, I was like, I knew there had to be a change to go from.
Nah, listen, as somebody that's now traveled everywhere except for Montana and Wyoming.
Ooh.
No, I think I actually might have been to Wyoming. So Montana. No, it's white. It's white everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere, man. Like I can't even hold you on that.
So are you South Side Atlanta or West Side? What side of Atlanta are you from?
West Side, baby.
West Side Atlanta. Okay, West Side, baby. Okay, that's what's up. And then making that change and going into Minneapolis. When did you, I guess, figure out that comedy and acting was a career that you wanted to take? Was that in college, or was that as a young boy, or?
Nah, that's getting fired. That's getting fired a lot. You know what I'm saying? I won't say necessarily getting fired or fired a lot. Like I excel at most things that I guess I put effort and energy into.
For sure.
Hopefully, or I figure out that it's not for me. Kind of like football. But no, it was literally going to work and trying to figure out, like, why isn't money, you know what I'm saying, making me happy? It's like, yeah, because how you getting the money ain't making you happy. And I was doing accounting. I don't want you to think that I was out here hustling.
Yeah, right.
That was a different time, and like where you thought that was, your only opportunity to get out in some senses. But nah, bro, like it literally was kind of having that epiphany, and I think somebody giving you the freedom to kind of make that decision, in Black households, like, it's like, nah, bro, what you mean you dreaming for this, you dreaming for that? Like, that ain't something that, like, we really put energy and effort to, because sometimes it sounds a little far-fetched, or that ain't for us, or whatever the narrative is. Like, you end up falling into it, and that could be in your circle, that could just be in your community, or that could really be in your household or your lineage.
For sure.
But thankfully for me, my grandma went to Harvard, so she's like, nah, you like there's the top and then there's the top. So go to the top. And then, you got other people in your family that are artists and they're like, well, I say you do it.
Right.
And you're like, so you're an adult, right? And they're like, no, I say you do it. You're like, all right, I'm gonna try this shit, but remember, you an adult. You told me that this was okay. And thankfully, I got an aunt who definitely was just like, nah, bro, like go be great wherever and whatever you want to do.
That's dope. Now, I heard you mention you figured out that football wasn't for you. So you went to college and you played football in college. At what point did you say, all right, this ain't it?
First day of free safety. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. First day of free safety, I played corner.
Okay.
And kick return. So like I'm solid. I was fast. I could definitely push a nigga out of bounds. But I think that it kind of gets to a different place when they like, hey, you an extra linebacker. And it's like, but the linebackers are linebackers, right? And I know they hit. So like, man, and legit first day, my roommate tried to run me over, and
he was like, "Nah, this ain't it."
That was like this, like man, man, I'm work on this funny stuff,
right?
Man.
Let me go tell some jokes.
I didn't even know comedy and all that, but the way that I tried to tackle him that day, it was
then.
It was like this, bro. I don't know if this for you, man.
What college did you go to?
Concordia.
Oh, I ain't gonna sit here like I heard of that one. What that's it?
Oh yeah, it's a D2 school in Minnesota.
D2, okay, dope. And that did you get your degree from there? I'm assuming.
Nah, man.
No?
I actually came out here and I went to UCLA for a little bit.
Okay.
And then based on what I was doing and I guess how I was excelling in them, I kind of got pulled over and started doing production accounting.
Gotcha. Nice. Okay, cool.
I got to marry somebody with a degree in order for our kids to have that in the household.
Yeah.
I tried finishing and now it's just, it doesn't necessarily serve as much purpose to go for the paper versus the information from certain that I need.
For sure. That makes a whole lot of sense. You can, there's many ways to get to 100, it ain't just 50 plus 50. So that makes a whole lot of sense. Now I'm the youngest of 7 and my experience is, my life experience rather is a little different than my siblings. I get to see things in a different light and move and breathe and, what I learned from them. You're the only boy in your family, and is it of 6?
No, I'm right in the middle of like my 4 sisters.
Okay.
And then I got 2 brothers, but they came later from
gotcha
to marriage. But yeah, I'm right in the pocket with my sisters, and I'm the youngest of my brothers.
So how was it growing up with that many sisters? Like, does that play into your comedy a bit? Does that teach you about love and life and relationships?
Man, I say, it advances you in so many ways when it comes to the female dynamic, I'll say, because it's so many different colors of it. You having sisters that's older and then having sisters that's younger, the stuff that comes out of their mouth is totally different.
Yeah.
How they talk to me is totally different. How they see relationships is totally different. So I would say, man, in real life, it grew me up. Like it makes you mature in a lot of different ways where the stuff that you probably would have done, they let you know like this, that ain't gonna get you where you're trying to go.
Right.
That right there, that ain't, or it gives you examples of like, oh, okay, so this is why they act like this. Let me not do that and not do this. Do a little bit of this, right, and then mix that with that, and then they shut the fuck up. Okay, cool. That's what it is, and that's the ultimate goal. You like this? How do I get you to shut the fuck up?
You had a crash course in how to get women to shut the fuck up. That's good. I think if you could write a book called "How to Get Your Girl to Shut the Fuck Up,"
man. But again, I think that's where they were testing it on me. Like, how do I get him to shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, give him the remote. And it's like, oh yeah.
That's all he needed. That's all he needed. Fix him something to eat. That's it. That's all. He ain't want much. They ain't need nothing like that. Now, does that play into your comedy a lot? Your family dynamic?
The family dynamic definitely does. I'm just now getting to a place where I'm really starting to expose the 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 I'm trying to find a good word to say, that, we've had our experiences in the streets a little bit. So yeah, no, it's definitely played a big role in comedy, but now it's starting to flesh out where it's becoming more about those experiences that I've applied or forgot in a lot of these relationship escapades that I've been on.
Dope. Now,
you don't want to say that like that. Yeah, so I've been out here.
Yeah, I've been out here in these streets. And
so I was trying to find a political way
to say it.
Don't say that.
It was a hoe. It's all right. It's okay. We ought to had our day in the sun.
Hey, listen, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm with you. We gonna cut that part. No, so one of my comedy mentors, I do stand up as well. My comedy mentor, D.L. Hughley. So he was telling me that, he was like, "Hey, Jerry, the day you become funny is the day that you get on stage and you start telling the truth." He was like, "You got jokes." He's like, "Jokes and stuff is cool." He was like, "But the day you're gonna really become funny is the day that you get on and start telling your truth." And that's what I've recently just got started doing that. So when I saw that you was touring with Sinbad across the country in 2018, and I saw you you were just headlining at the Atlanta. That was last year at the Atlanta Comedy Theater. How much truth are you telling? And then do you have, when you went on the road with Sinbad, did you have to kind of curve your comedy? Because I know Sinbad is a, different, clean comedian, one of the greats, but, did you have to curve that at all?
Yeah, I think that you curve it in different ways. I think at first you go up there and you're trying to make everybody else comfortable versus you being comfortable in this space.
For sure.
Right. And I think those are two totally different things. So when I got on touring with Sinbad, the first show, he kept tossing me his keys and I'm like, "Man, what's up, bro?" He was like, "You dress like a valet." Because I thought that I had to dress up to be, on his shows. He was like, "Nah, dress like, wear what you gonna wear. Like, you're performing, you at work. So it is what it is. You did all this to get to this space. So you don't have to necessarily live in this." So that was one of them. And then, he when I tell you, like, he fucked the game up for me in the sense of, like, he was, when you say a comedy mentor, like DL, and we ran into DL. So shout out to DL. Nice. But like, he made sure, real life, he was like, "All right, cool, I'm gonna sit right here. I don't want to hear none of your jokes." And you like, "Wait, what?" And he like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sit right here on the side of this stage. If I hear one of your jokes, then I'm gonna walk out on stage." And you don't really have no comedy mentor that really says, like, "All right, cool. In this moment, you're unfireable. Mm-hmm. So go out there, do as good or bad as you're gonna do, but it needs to be new thoughts. Talk about this, because this is what we talked about."
Gotcha.
And usually people ain't even giving you game, let alone pushing you
to go do that. Right. And so, a lot of comedians, they don't even want you to. I've done some shows where they don't even want you to. You go out there and you be too funny. That's your last night working with them.
Exactly.
That's your last night. Like I thought I was just trying to be good. Like, just a little too good.
Well, and that's why sometimes I hate the fact that they even put them in that clean box, because when I tell you, I don't know nobody that can rock with him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about, I've seen him do hours and hours on stuff that's coming from the crowd, stuff that we done talked about earlier in the day. So for me, when I be looking at it, I'm like, man, the reason why he's a legend is something that is legendary, but a lot of people put him in that box of like, "Oh, well, that's clean comedy."
Clean comedy,
like,
yeah.
He talking about the same things and he ain't cursed. So, that sounds a little bit more challenging. That was one of the challenging parts too. And that kind of curbed some of your jokes a little bit too, because you're talking to your parents, you're talking to your aunties, you're talking. So how much of fucking are you going to talk about? How much of this are you going to talk about? Like, all right, I can't just go out there and say that. And how are they going to take it? Are they going to cringe? And then two, if you're going to say it, you better make sure it's funny.
For sure.
So they forget that you said it.
For sure.
Because it is like your parents, like, "Man, my kids don't cuss in front of me. I don't know how to take that."
Now, how old were you when you were on the road? That's 2018. That was about 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, but I was on the road with him for about 3-4 years.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where he was just like, "Nah, like we rocking right now." So like, you keep getting better. As long as you keep getting better,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna keep doing it. But if I feel like you just ain't taking this serious or taking advantage of this, then it is. And don't get me wrong, like you know, you got to humble yourself. I had a job. I am a grown man. I am all this. But for me, like I was a student to the game.
Yep.
So like, do you need help with your bags? What can I do? How can I help? Like,
Yeah.
I ain't. And that was the one thing that he gift wrapped for me too. He said, never be too cool to do comedy.
Mm.
He said, some of your friends gonna be too cool. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be out there and they're gonna try to be their coolest self. You a comedian, like you already supposed to be funny. So you going up there and having to be the coolest nigga in the room, like, okay.
Yeah.
That's not funny. You know what I'm saying? And that's not real. Like DL was saying, like you gotta be real. If you ain't showing you, it's like you got these elements of you, but be that here. Like
be your true authentic self. You know what I mean?
Or bring your gun on stage. Like you have options. It's like you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like funny motherfuckers shoot people too. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy how guns work. You know what I'm saying?
Man, now are you touring? Are you touring now? 2022. Do you have any dates coming up where people can catch you and just?
I mean, I'm about to really get on the road touring because I'm about to work on this comedy album.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that I have slated for this year.
Nice.
To wrap that in a bow. But again, it's different because you had years of doing material that was geared towards this, and now you finally have your voice, but now you're applying it to what I'm saying, the street shit that all the other stuff that the things that are really molded you in a way or your perspective because of those things.
Absolutely, man. I was watching some of your stuff on your Instagram, and I'm happy that you didn't. I couldn't find a full set because I want to see you in person. So whenever I get that opportunity to come and watch you in person, I got to definitely take that one. But man, you talked about going to therapy. So is that you bringing some of your real life onto stage and working through some maybe childhood traumas, and then
Bruh, we fucked up. Yeah. Like a lot of people don't want to admit that shit. Like we all walking around and we dealing with certain stuff that either can't be talked about, won't be talked about, or shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's like if you was a prisoner then, you even more of a prisoner now. And I'm cool on that. Like if I got the options, I got insurance.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna pay this little copay and talk to
somebody and work through some of this shit.
Yeah, but again, like that ain't the conversation in our community. So a lot of people like to think like, oh, well, I'm hard this. Like, yeah, but you cry in the shower, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I know you don't want me to say that in front of the bitches, but like that's you know what I'm saying? But it's real, and that's the shit that I think that sometimes we get to express going on stage. Yeah. But we don't talk about it. Like we don't talk about the idea that like, yo, I just went and talked to somebody else that helped me digest this so I can even say it to you.
Right.
Or help me get over all these no's that I just heard. Because I didn't audition for 1,000 things and I got callbacks on probably 500 of them, but it didn't book nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No, that shit hurt.
Right.
Like, that
right.
hurt. You know what I'm saying? So how do I put myself back together? Or the other side of it, like, nigga, I just played a whole character. How am I gonna go back to Chase?
Right. And I'm with you. That's crazy that you talking about the audition thing. I had made it to the final round. There's a movie that just came out called The Tender Bar. I think Ben Affleck is in it, and George Clooney directed or produced it or something. My first audition got to the second audition, to the second final. And then they cut me there. So I was fine with it. I was like, shit, hey, yeah, I ain't no actor for real. I don't do this. But then when I saw that shit come out, I was like, oh, damn. They really did make that movie, huh? They go to scene I auditioned with. Damn. So I feel that. But I'm a pivot a little bit to Bigger because you just mentioned it. On Bigger, you played the character named Dion. Now, I was just telling my wife this before I jumped on here. In my opinion, Bigger was one of the best shows in the last 5 years. So this is the fucked up part. We were reaching out because they asked us, they was like, hey, who do y'all want to interview? I was like, well, shit. I said, last year I talked to Tristan J. Winger from Bigger. I said, give me somebody else from Bigger because that's my show. That's my shit. So then they were looking, and then someone's agent emailed back and like, hey, this show got canceled. I said, you bullshitting. What the hell? That was one of the best shows on television. No, I'm not even gassing you because you're here. One of the best shows.
Bro, I felt the same way, especially for us.
For sure.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, and I watch everything. I watch everything that has us in it, just because I like to support. And you kind of like to know what's going on, what narratives are being painted out there. So for me, bro, I felt the same way, man. And I don't think that we'll ever really get clarity on this or that. But and again, for me, I'm just an actor, so I'm overly thankful for the opportunities that is created, because after season 1, there were certain phone calls. After season 2, it's been booming, and they playing it right now.
For
So
sure, on BET.
It come on Wednesday nights. Like, so I can't complain about it, but I don't know. It's hard not to feel the same way when you're also a fan of a show and you happen to work on it. So like it definitely was a disappointing phone call to take, but I think that it makes me more appreciative of it than that I felt that way about something I worked on.
Yeah.
Because we can go out there and work on some bullshit.
Yes.
We got bills to pay. Like,
right.
So you go out there and work on some shit like, you got to cancel when? One episode in. Oh, damn. I thought at least we got 3, man. I remember the first. I remember if they would have, let's get to episode 3.
They gonna like it. By the time they get to episode 4, they gonna see the story for real. This
man. So and it had 2 great seasons, and it wasn't necessarily widely promoted. On such a big scale to where you can tell everybody that found it like really fell in love with it. And that's what I also can enjoy from it. And people reached out and showed the love. So I think that I can appreciate that, and I can't look at it or frown upon it as much as, that should be disappointing when you get that phone call like, hey, this ain't, this is like my second or third time dealing with something that's like, hey, it's here, it's this is what it is. And then, the first one was, I think, like the Me Too situation. And it's like, damn. So like the trickle down effect of that. And then the other time it was just like, all right, cool. Well, this person and they want this, and these people got the same. So it's like something that didn't have anything to do with me.
Right.
The other one that had nothing to do with me. So I just keep trying to push.
I think that life sometimes throws us curveballs, and I'll just in baseball, all home runs, or most of the home runs, are hit off a curveball. So a curveball in life is sometimes just a setup for you to knock it out the park. And I think, and this is just me, this is just Jared the Great talking. This saying I ain't no producer, EP, none of that. But what I do think is going to happen, the success of other BET Plus shows and movies like the Miss Pat show is going to push people to then see like, oh, what else is on this BET Plus platform? Because a lot of people didn't have BET Plus to watch these great shows that are on there. So then it's going to get more work for everybody who was on that show, because everybody was great. The writing was great. I told my wife, I said, this is like, if you like Insecure, it should be in that same conversation on that same level. But it is what it is. The benefit is that you all now on BET every Wednesday night. You had a great character on that show. The stories were great. If you're a young Black person, or old Black, whoever, the show was for you, and it was a really, really great show. So I just want to salute you and the entire cast and the team for making such beautiful content for us, man. That was my show.
Man, I appreciate it. And it was real. Like I enjoyed it because it was everything, like you said, that you've been missing, or that you get from one show, but you don't necessarily get it from other shows. And again, just as a Black actor, like, I'm happy that I got to play somebody that I can identify with, and that I ain't no sidebar, no side conversation, and that you see that there's many levels to, what I'm saying, this. It's like, oh, okay, cool. That's somebody educated. That's somebody that still identifies, still has struggles, still has this. Like, the grass ain't always green. And I think that show highlighted all of that. And that's why I enjoyed it, because it was like, yo, I can see myself, and it was me, but I can see myself as this dude. And then he had love interest. He was showing that dynamic between mom and son, dependency, all that, like shit that we need to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the stuff that I enjoyed about it, and was more so disappointed, along with probably other people, that it hasn't found another home yet.
Yeah.
But
if they're still looking for a home, I got a feeling it's gonna land if they still looking. So
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. If they still
if
looking.
they still looking, salute to Will Packer and Packer Productions and everybody who was a part of that project, man. Now, before I let you go, I gotta ask you this one question, because this is what really stuck out to me about you, and this was like, man, I appreciate this. You live by the saying, which is "Let's talk about it." Why is that a saying that you live by? Why is that your motto?
I think it's different when you grow up with an addict, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of shit that ain't addressed. And, you know, that was where I was saying that those personal prisons and stuff that we'll put ourselves in. It's like, nah, this situation ain't that, then let's address it. Because other than that, then we got to suffer longer. Nah, I'd rather talk about it. So let's talk about this. Let's get all this out in the open. And then you end up carrying that same energy in the relationships, which help. Communication breeds comfort, you know what I'm saying? Which, you know, in some senses breeds trust.
Absolutely, man. I think that you are probably one of the well, on the side for me, a personal one of my favorite people to have talked to, because I pulled so much from this conversation and just getting to meet you and talk to you. So I think that's dope. I think that you are a true young talent. The world is yours, man. It's coming. No, you look good, damn it. You got the face for TV. You Michael B. Jordan, who? You know what I mean? So, so I think that the world is yours, man. I'm excited personally to see what the future holds for you. You know, a curveball is just a setup for you to hit a home run, man. And I think that your next to bat, you're gonna knock this bitch out the park. So.
Oh, I'm gonna use that. You're gonna be seeing it like this. Did he just
Did that nigga just take this?
Oh, in a speech. Oh, okay. Okay, listen, if I don't get no shot,
he won the Oscar for best male and then use my shit. Look at that.
Man. But I think that's reciprocal. I think that we're putting out that energy.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you married, you mentioned your wife. That's a strong foundation. Once you building on that, you got a partner. Like, that's what they don't want us to do, don't want us to know. You know what I'm saying? You got somebody cheering you on and rooting for you, bro.
Absolutely.
Like, somebody motivating you. Like, that's the energy that's supposed to be out there. So that's why I say, like, anything, and you doing it. Like, you already run a successful podcast. So when you start thinking about that first audition, like, shit, turn that motherfucker into another one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your first one, you was like, yeah, George Clooney and all this. Like, I see why they picked the dude that they picked.
Got him.
That just wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? Now I can go and I can be as great as I need to be.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna get back on these stages like I want to be. We just did Houston, and Houston, I got that bug bit me again. I went out there and did 10 minutes flat footed, and I was like, oh shit. I said, oh, COVID, who? I got to go out here and get this doggone thing off my back. So man, I'm hopefully I run into you out there on one of these stages, man. You know, these comedy waves, they frequent each other all the time. So we gonna see each other out there in these streets. Say it one more time.
What city you in?
We in Jacksonville, Florida. So we in Florida.
Oh yeah, I've been down there. I've been down there on the other side of that bridge. They say, hey, stay around your hotel. Just stay right here.
Stay right there in that area. Yeah, don't you take your ass out east, out west, none of that.
Don't you get on none of these apps. That's a setup. I was like, this, damn, man. So yeah, no, but I actually enjoy performing in Jacksonville.
Nice. Yeah. So soon as you come back, I mean, I gotta catch you in the city. We hitting the road. We doing Atlanta. We doing Charlotte. We doing Louisville. So we gonna you know, we hitting the road. And hopefully we run into each other out there in these streets, man.
Man, you already know, man. And this was a blessing, man. And tell everybody that didn't make it, man. Tell them that they were missed.
Absolutely.
And yeah, no, man. I wish y'all nothing but success, and I appreciate y'all reaching out.
Absolutely. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Dignified Delinquents, what can they follow you real quick? What can they follow you on social media?
At Chase Comedy. That's everything. At Chase Comedy on Instagram, at Chase Comedy or chasecomedy.com, at Chase Comedy on Facebook, at Chase Comedy on Twitter. I'm about to get on TikTok.
Okay, there it is. Well, at Chase Comedy, ladies and gentlemen, Chase Anthony, we appreciate you for coming on, boss.